Thank you, Rob. Good afternoon, everyone. The build-up just about done and dusted. Rangers and Hibernian have, of course, become regular foes over the last couple of years, and the latest and final chapter that will be written of this current series is the grandest of all. This is the 13th meeting since two of Scotland's biggest clubs were set on a championship collision course. They have won 6 apiece since Chapter 1 was scribed. There doesn't appear to be much between them. Something, though, has to give today. Well, Hibs' failure to join the Ibrox club in the top flight will be felt in the coming months. But for today, it's all about wiping away the pain, ridicule and taunting, particularly the inner city derision they have received in Edinburgh as the years have piled up without the Scottish Cup. 114 now. It is such an Achilles heel, such a millstone for the older Hibs fans in particular, that some would have taken victory today ahead of promotion back to the top league. It is all they are left with now, for this season at least. Rangers have been idle for 3 weeks, and they weren't exactly in bloom as they ended the league season. Not that they had to be, given they sealed the title with 4 games to spare. However, they haven't won a game since beating Celtic in that frantic, frenetic semi-final here last month. Well, losing that winning feeling cost them today, as it did in 1994, when that Rangers team lost to Dundee United, and they were without a win in their last 5. Dominic Ball is of course suspended, so Gideon Zelalem plays from the start. 9 of that starting 11 began the semi-final against Celtic. Top scorer Martin Waghorn bolsters the side, the top scorer returning from injury just in time. Kenny Miller has won this twice, once with Rangers and once with Celtic. Barry Mackay is in the form of his life. Jason Cummings is restored to the Hibs starting 11. He has 8 goals in his last 10 appearances against Rangers, and says backing him to score against the Ibrox side is like printing money. Will he have the Midas touch this afternoon? Goalkeeper Logan was the semi-final hero. Dylan McGeoch is fit and starts. Liam Henderson will be disappointed. He has dropped to the bench, as is James Keatings, who played well and scored twice against Falkirk in the playoff semi-final second leg last Friday. Rangers list just 5 subs, though that didn't seem to do them any harm in the last round. The referee for the big one is Stephen McLean. The 35-year-old has described this as the pinnacle of his career as he takes charge of the Scottish Cup final for the very first time. He has taken charge of a League Cup final before, though, as today's official. Jason Cummings there, 25 goals this season. Preferred to Keatings today. Hasn't really got that partnership with Anthony Stokes working as the pair would like as yet. This will be some stage to get that started. Kenny Miller has been there, seen it, done it, and he'll be hoping to do it again today. 36 years of age, Kenny Miller. He is 37 in December, but still such an important player for this Rangers side. The formalities just about complete. Lovely day on Glasgow's south side for a game of football, and it is one of the biggest games of football of the year. The 131st Scottish Cup final, and despite the clubs involved, for the first time it's being contested by 2 teams outside of Scotland's top league. So we know we will have a lower league winner for the first time since East Fife, who lifted it as a second-tier team in 1938. Rangers shooting east in this first half in the blue, Hibs in the green and white, going towards Mount Florida. The second time a Rangers and Hibs side have clashed in the Scottish Cup final, or rather the 4th, given the other one in 79 went to not one but two replays. Two goalless draws were followed by a 3-2 Rangers win at the end of an epic that required extra time. Arthur Duncan with an own goal, ensuring the cup went to Ibrox. Craig Patterson has played for both these teams. He's won the Scottish Cup as well, so is well placed to tell us how this might go.
Well, I have absolutely no idea, and it could be penalties. You know, I think these teams are so evenly matched. Here's how fired up the players are. That's an early challenge from Anthony Stokes. The referee doesn't want to start dishing out yellow cards at this stage of the game, but Stokes is going to be careful. One more of them and he's going to be on yellow, and then he's going to be walking a tightrope.
2009 was the last time the Scottish Cup went to Ibrox, so this is the first chance for the Rangers supporters to witness one of these finals since. They haven't lost one since 1998. Easter Road Trophy cabinet will have had a few refurbishments since the oldest national trophy last visited that particular plot of the capital. No matter who wins it, there'll be a fifth different victor of the tournament in a row for the first time since the 50s into the early 60s. 6 different clubs lifted it on the bounce back then. Hearts, Falkirk, Clyde, St Mirren, Rangers and Dunfermline under Jock Stein. Hearts, Celtic, St Johnstone, Cally Thistle and either Rangers or Hibs.
There's a few challenges rattling in early doors.
That's what you want to see, isn't it?
And as I say, if the referee can see the challenges are genuine, players going for the ball, he lets it go. For me, it just adds a little bit extra to the contest.
It's Kenny Miller, beaten to it by McGeoch, who went off injured against Falkirk a week yesterday. It's been an injury-ravaged season for Hibs number 10. Here's Martin Waghorn. Instant impact this season from the Englishman. For games against Rangers, Alan Stubbs does tend to set his side up the way he has today. Sometimes works, sometimes doesn't. Here's Cummings for Stokes. Hasn't really got anyone to hit in the middle at the moment. Stokes might fancy it himself, and he does! And why not? Is it on? Is it on? Hibs lead the Scottish Cup final! What a start!
Well, it's a finish from Stokes, but I tell you what, it's just seemed far too easy. The referee plays a good advantage. The ball comes to Stokes. As it Cummings that plays him in. The referee could have given the free kick. He says play on, and now Anthony Stokes just drives into the box. He's not confronted, and he knocks it by the goalkeeper into the bottom corner. It's poor defending, but I tell you what, exactly the start Hibs were looking for.
Anthony Stokes, who is on loan from Celtic, puts Hibernian in front in the Scottish Cup final. The stuff that dreams are made of. A goal on 3 minutes, and Alan Stubbs could scarcely have dreamt of a better start last night when he went to his bed. And he's come under fire now and again, has Stokes, since he made the loan switch in the winter. And while he hasn't set the heather on fire, if he helps win the Scottish Cup for Hibernian and end 114 years of hurt, nobody in green and white will give a jot about that. It's his 8th of the season. It's his 3rd, all told, against Rangers. He didn't score for Celtic against Rangers. All of them have come in the green and white of Hibernian. Well, it's a massive shot in the arm for Hibs. And Craig, the guys were talking about it beforehand. If Hibs had a hope of winning the trophy today, it was they who would have to score first. Well, they have done.
Well, it's certainly a major bonus, you know, you never know at the start of the game, but I think both managers realise the importance, getting the first goal, and then you set the tempo of the game. The opposition have to open up, they have to push men forward to try and get an equaliser, and that leaves them open to the counter-attack.
This is a great period of play, this for Hibs. Mark Warburton will be seething at the nature of that strike. Stokes just meandered his way through the defence. Still had to finish. He did with aplomb.
Yeah, but it's Rob Kiernan comes across and doesn't confront him. You know, shows him the goal, and he takes the route and he knocks it just inside the far post. And as you say, it's a dream start for Hibs.
Rangers stunned. Remember, they haven't played a competitive match for 3 weeks. Hibs, on the other hand, have been playing ultra-competitive matches. So you've got the two sides of the coin. Hibs could be tired, but Rangers perhaps not at the races as a result of that.
Yeah, well, people will say, you know, well, Rangers did not come out the blocks quick enough, but as I say, it was just a decent finish, but really poor defending by Rangers, not something they've been guilty of a lot this season.
10 finals in the Scottish Cup in a row that Hibs have lost. Jason Cummings, who's capable from there. Starren McGregor, who was Rangers Player of the Year last season. It's the Hibs fans making the noise. Understandably so. There's Andy Halliday. Well, immediately in the semi-final, Rangers got at Celtic. They haven't been able to do this today.
Hibs are going to drop off the game. You know, when Rangers have possession, they'll allow them to keep the ball in front of them. But the minute Rangers had the ball there, the back three became a back five. David Gray on the right-hand side, Lewis Stevenson on the left, right across there, leaving very little room for the Rangers forwards to work away through.
Tavernier's long ball is easily dealt with by Fontaine. Stevenson beats Waghorn to it. Halliday. Danny Wilson sold Kenny Miller a bit short there. Gray wins it back for Hibs and gets it back from Cummings. Stokes has made an early run in towards the box. Gray gets it wrong.
David Gray started his career as a winger, and I thought he was going to go to the byline there, take the last defender on, then dives into this challenge. And it's not a booking, isn't it? He's gone in, he's gone with the top of his foot to try and flick the ball. It's a definite free kick, but no yellow card.
The last team to lose the Scottish Cup final when taking the lead was Dunfermline in 2004. It was Henrik Larsson's last game for Celtic. Celtic lifted the trophy, but the team that has scored first in the Scottish Cup final since has won the trophy. It's Paul Hanlon, a stalwart of this Easter Road club. Here's another in Lewis Stevenson. He's looking for Cummings. Who's going to get there? He's on his own. So was Stokes earlier, though. Not quite.
Well, that's another chance for Hibs. Jason Cummings gets himself into the box here. Rob Kiernan, his slice doesn't get there. Cummings drags it back. Maybe should have pulled the trigger slightly earlier. Rangers crowd him out. Comes back to Anthony Stokes. He misses target.
Well, that was the fastest Scottish Cup final goal since Colin Cameron scored for Hearts against Rangers at Celtic Park in '98. The last time Rangers lost a Scottish Cup final as the corner comes in from McGinn. There was a shout from the Hibs fans for handball. Really important period this for Rangers. They do not want to concede again.
No, and they need to retain the composure that they've been showing since the season started. They don't want to start playing the ball back to front, trying to go too quickly. Rangers' strength is passing the ball.
Which they're doing here. Miller to Zilalem. On loan from Arsenal. Barry Mackay scored a wonder goal against Hibs just after his wonder goal here against Celtic in the semi-final. Here's Kenny Miller. Tavernier overhits it.
This Rangers' problem, wide areas. Jason Holt, the only player in the box. You know, he's not going to win too many headers. People have got to get up and support.
What a pass from Stokes. Here's Cummings. Wilson does enough. And a sumptuous ball from Stokes.
Terrific ball and great defending, Danny Wilson. He knew it was one-on-one. If Cummings gets clear, he's in on the goal. He stood his ground and saw him off.
We did wonder if Hibs would be up for it today. They've had such a downer of a week, having missed out on promotion via the playoffs and lost the League Cup final here a couple of months back. This might squeeze through here. And Jason Holt has won a free kick as well.
I think Paul Hanlon makes the initial mistake, tries to rectify it, gets there as quick as he can, but the minute Jason Holt gets across him there, any kind of contact, and the referee's looking to give free kick.
It's been a troubled opening 11 and a half minutes for Rangers, but it could be wiped away here. We know how good James Tavernier is from this kind of situation. For Tavernier, might prefer it on the other side of the box, but it's he and Halliday who are over this. It's the first nervy time for Conrad Logan in the Hibs goal.
Slightly awkward as well, you know, if Halliday could go one side, Tavernier the other, but it's the goalkeeper's got to trust his wall and stay in his side.
It is going to be Halliday. A roar of relief from the Hibees. Zelalem to Holt, former Hearts player. Helped Hearts to the title in the second tier last season. And it's overhit by Danny Wilson.
That's a poor free kick, isn't it? This is a flick on there, a head, knee. Impossible for James Tavernier to know where that ball's going to hit him.
Alan Stubbs has made his way to the edge of the technical area for the first time. There he is, bottom of the picture. His future up in the air, it seems, albeit there's another year as Hibs boss if he wants it, contractually at least. Miller and Holt. Zelalem. First time for Mackay, he was looking for Miller.
Very difficult to work your way down the central area there because Hibs just have so many green jerseys behind the ball.
Didn't win the Scottish Cup with Celtic. Alan Stubbs did win the League Cup and the title as well. Here's Stokes. It came off the Rangers defender, so he was onside.
He tries to take it early. I think he's trying to just lob that over the goalkeeper.
Hibs' 2 wins against Rangers this season both came at Easter Road, though they did lose in the Challenge Cup against them right at the start of the season, and way back last July. 6-2. The Rangers will get their first corner of the afternoon here.
Rangers normally take them short, and here we go again.
Zelalem to Tavernier. Halliday winds one up.
Certainly capable from that kind of distance, Andy Halliday, but he just doesn't get enough on it. It's a poor strike, usually better than that. Mark Warburton is
PFA Scotland's Manager of the Year. That was announced a couple of weeks ago. Hands in pockets and with plenty to think about now, Craig.
Well, he trusts his players. They've played the same way all season. They've come from behind. They know how to get the job done, but he also knows this is a final. Big opportunity, especially with European football up for grabs.
Tavernier to Waghorn. Zilalam. It's John McGinn, who, when Hibs beat Rangers before the turn of the year at Easter Road, was exceptional. Here's Stokes, he's got that space again. He's going to take on Kiernan again. Cummings. The Rangers have the problem is that they're going to have to chase the game at some point. It's probably too early to start thinking about that just now. They'd love to level it up as soon as possible. But when you've got players of the quality of Anthony Stokes and Jason Cummings who can do you harm on the counter-attack, they have to be very, very careful.
Well, you watch Anthony Stokes the minute James Tavernier bombs forward. He comes out into this wide left area. There's a big hole there, and every time he gets on the ball, he's driving at Rob Kiernan in that central defensive area.
Stokes looks in the mood, doesn't he? Wouldn't have been able to play today. His parent club Celtic had beaten Rangers in the semis. An incredible statistic came from that semi-final, and that Rangers had 63% of the possession against Celtic. They've settled now. The Ibrox side. Mackay to Zilalam. It's easy for Logan.
Once again, Hibs just have so many bodies. There's an absolute swarm in there, and it's going to take an absolute pinpoint pass to break them down.
Tavernier gets the better of John McGinn. Fontaine. Innocuous. Does enough. If you're joining us late, Anthony Stokes with a goal in 3 minutes. As Hibernian leading the 131st Scottish Cup final. The 113 Scottish Cup finals have gone past since they last won it. Here's Barry Mackay. The Scotland squad, of course, for the end of season friendlies. So too Lee Wallace, the Rangers captain, as that goes Hibernian's way. It's not a great ball at all. Here's Stokes. Still in there. Lee Wallace nips in ahead of Cummings. Rangers do not look easy at the back.
Well, they're all over the place just now, playing balls across their own box and just inviting pressure.
McGregor. Tavernier got there ahead of Stevenson. It was a 50-50. Neither particularly wanted to have to thunder into that challenge. Tavernier in particular sold a bit short. Lee Wallace. Mackay. Waghorn tried to turn.
There's a challenge, 2 players, and Lewis Stevens doesn't get there, pulls out, and nobody's going to get injured. But just looking at Dylan McGeoch trying to get on the ball for Hibs, you need composure now. You're 1-0 ahead, dictate the pace of the game, start making passes, and McGeoch in that central area is the man for Hibs who can do exactly that.
Stokes. Cummings in the middle, 5E arriving there as well. John McGinn in the Hibs engine room made his international debut here for Scotland against Denmark a couple of months ago, and he was man of the match. Hibs, of course, consigned to another season in the Championship. It would be made all the easier if they can lift the cup today. Defending initially by Kiernan, but it pops out here to McGinn. Opens up for him as well.
It's a half-decent effort, but it's just thumping into the challenge, winning the ball, driving at the Rangers defence. Gets caught under his feet, goes for a chip, and it's on the top of the net. But at the moment, every 50-50 in there is being won by a player in green and white. After that challenge that we just spoke about, Mark Warburton sprinted out of his dugout to remonstrate with his players just to get into the battle, fight their way into this game.
Rangers off the pace, Craig.
Yeah, they seem to be. The early goal doesn't help, and then they started playing the ball back to front, which doesn't suit them. It's about Andy Halliday. Players like that getting on the ball start to dictate things, but the more passes you make at the moment, the more Hibs players are going to get behind the ball, so Rangers just need to up the pace a little bit.
Wallace, who has been a major part in the journey that Rangers have been on for the last almost 4 years. Waghorn reversing it to Holt. Jason Holt's managed 12 goals this season. Andy Halliday is knocking on the door of double figures too. Just been Waghorn who's been finding the net. Kenny Miller has 20, Waghorn 28.
When your full-backs, I think I've got something like nearly 20 between them. Yeah. It just shows you what a weapon they are, and Hibs knew that at the start of the game. I think the back three is designed to stop Tavernier and Wallace bombing on and causing you all sorts of problems.
Well, Tavernier has 15. Wallace has 9, Halliday has 9, Holt 12, Mackay 9, as I mentioned 20 and 28 for Miller and Waghorn respectively. It's some return. About 25 minutes in to the final. Stokes' goal is the difference. Cummings is offside.
Just a no more, I think. He tried to hold, but I think he just went slightly too early. Lewis Stevenson knocks it forward, and yeah, you can see in the cut the pitch there, he is just the wrong side of the Rangers defence.
Tavernier.
When Rangers start to build from the back, look how close Fraser Fyvie gets to Andy Halliday. He's the one they know can get on the ball in there and move Rangers forward. They're trying to keep him out of the equation.
There's Mackay. Open up a little bit for him here. Waghorn. There's good pressing. He's looking for a bit of space. Waghorn, who's made his way into the box. Tavernier's ball in's a good one! It is Kenny Miller! It is 1-1 in the final! Rangers, Mr. Dependable, does it again!
Well, it's a great header from Kenny Miller, but the ball in from Tavernier is an absolute peach. When you don't have big strikers, you've got to fizz the ball in there. That's a beauty. And that is a belter of a header. Conrad Logan, it is past him, he dies, but he's no chance of getting there. Quality cross, brilliant header.
Kenny Miller does what he does, and what he's been doing for years. For club and country. It's a tremendous header, but it was all about the ball in from James Tavernier. As you say, Craig.
Well, it's Kenny Miller against Darren McGregor at the back post. You would fancy McGregor, but the quality of the ball. Miller's on the run, he's up early, he holds down McGregor, and then what a finish.
Came at a really good time. There's never a bad time to score in a Scottish Cup final when you're still in the game, of course, but Rangers had seen more of the ball, and it was important from their point of view that they took advantage of that, and they have. Here's Stokes, up the other end. What an effort! Oh, he's so unlucky! Hibs were almost back in front.
Well, it's turned into an incredible game. Stokes gets the ball here, moves it onto his right foot, creates space, and what a hit. Beats the goalkeeper, all ends up. How unlucky is that? Cracks off the post, spins out, and then for a by kick, but magnificent effort. You see that manager can't believe it.
Well, the width of Wes Fodringham's post has just saved Rangers, having just got themselves level. Set up nicely here, not even on the half-hour mark yet. Cummings gives chase, but he's offside again. Now, what is the Hibs reaction to this? We got a taster of it there for that Stokes effort.
I just don't think here's the goal again. What a ball in, that's a great header from Kenny Miller. Going to be brave to come in there, and there's the reaction of a happy man. His team haven't started well, now they've got themselves right back in the game.
Miller, who scored in the semi, looking for a third Scottish Cup winners' medal. Having picked up one either side of the Great Glasgow Divide. I'm not sure how well that smoke bomb's going to go down with the authorities. Lewis Stevenson, who's done brilliantly to keep it in play. Famously man of the match in the League Cup final as a teenager, playing for Hibs. Alan Stubbs there with Kevin Thompson just in front as a player coach these days. Back at Hibs for a third time, of course. Won the Scottish Cup with Rangers in 2008. Cummings, he's looking for Stokes. Not many are beating Lee Wallace for pace though.
Took a great position, Lee Wallace, saw the danger, tucked in behind his centre-backs and did his job.
He's a big game player, Kenny Miller. His last international match was against England at Wembley. He scored a terrific goal that day, called time on his international career thereafter. 69 caps and 18 goals. But so often in derby matches, Craig, and in big cup ties and this big final, he has stepped up when it's mattered. He may be 36, but he plays as if he's 10 years younger.
Well, he's an energy and an appetite for the game, and now being a coach, you know, you want to lead by example, and that is exactly what he does.
Zelalem for Waghorn, who's going to get there. Only just. His bonus is a corner kick.
And I wonder if Rangers will stick this one in the mixer. You know, for a change, they like to play it short, but Danny Wilson's certainly going forward. He'd be the main target.
May well be a day for simplicity.
Yeah, here's Rob Kiernan going forward as well. Normally he doesn't bother because he knows the ball's not going in there, but now two decent targets in the box for Rangers.
Barry Mackay to take. Oh, Miller's got a free header! What a let-off for Hibs! Both sides have struck woodwork. Here come Hibs in the counter with McGinn. He's looking for Cummings. He's a bit too much on it. What a final we have ourselves here.
Well, incredibly poor defending again at a set piece. Kenny Miller's a dangerous player. You cannot give him a free header, and he's so unlucky. Very similar to Anthony Stokes. Does everything just about right, and it cracks back off the woodwork.
Horrendous defending by Hibs, though.
Well, it's a free header. You know, you've got umpteen bodies back, you've got extra men in the box, and people are standing looking at each other instead of going and heading the ball clear.
The tide's most definitely turned. Rangers so often taking the short corner, as Craig was saying there, and Hibs perhaps keeping an eye on the big men. Didn't bargain for Kenny Miller, left of the penalty spot. .12 to the break. Could be 2-2 we're watching here.
That's been decent stuff, you know. We figured these two teams would be turning in decent fare.
Here's Waghorn. He'll test Stevenson. Showed too much of it to Stevenson. Tavernier to Zelalem. Tavernier again. He's such a dangerous weapon for Rangers down that right, as Wallace is on the left, of course. Important period in the game for Hibernian, you suspect?
Oh, for sure. You know, Rangers look like they fancy it now. They're on top, and Hibs were snapping into tackles earlier, winning the ball all the time. Now Rangers are just starting to take over and starting to move the ball out about that midfield area, and they just look so much more dangerous.
And 4 energy-sapping playoff matches in recent times. Hibernian, 2 against Wraith Rovers, 2 against Falkirk. This is Liam Fontaine. Scored in the League Cup final, of course, the Hibs goal in the 2-1 defeat to Ross County. Dylan McGeoch, who we barely mentioned, almost 35 in. This is Fraser Fivey to Stevenson. Away from a couple there. He's done enough. Here's Fivey. Good work by Zelalem. A bit more measured in their build-up that time, Hibs.
I think Fraser Fivey, he should have got the ball into the box. There were 2-on-2 in there, and you know, in that situation, just give your strikers a chance.
It's ambitious. Kenny Miller's 21st of the season. His third spell at Rangers, his second was by far and away the most fruitful. Of course, it all began for Kenny Miller at Hibs. He replaced Barry Lavetti against Motherwell. He made his senior debut. So one for Tavernier.
Yeah, John McGinn's got to be careful. Oh, he's come rattling into the back, but that's a free header. Look how much room Kenny Miller has got. Acres of space, he just pulls off, and he's really unlucky.
Hibs looking a bit edgy now.
Well, Hibs have stopped passing the ball. You know, when a player gets the ball at the back in the early part of the game, there was 2 or 3 in midfield to play it to, and then you work it to front players. And the moment when they get the ball at the back and look up, there's nobody to pass to, they're under pressure, and they're just going to clear their lines.
The scoreline about right?
Yeah, I think it's fair. You know, Hibs started sharp, got the goal, but Rangers just gradually started to grind their way back into the game, and I don't think either manager will be too happy at the way they conceded.
The winners today not only get to lift the Scottish Cup, they'll also be playing European football next season. They'll go into next season's Europa League at the second qualifying round. That, by the way, is the round after Aberdeen and Hearts, who finished second and third in the Premiership, will enter.
And it's great, you know, if you get through the Cup, you've got the extra couple of weeks to get ready and really prepare, games under your belt, and I think you go into the European campaign ready to do battle.
James Tavernier for Waghorn by Hanlon. Cummings wanted that in the feet. Ahead of him in his stride. So the result, Rangers have it back, and it's Danny Wilson. It was Barry Mackay. The fleet-footed Barry Mackay.
Rangers now need to get Barry Mackay involved. Haven't seen a great deal of him. Decided to take on David Gray. Excuse me, got clear, but David Gray gets back quick, keeps him under pressure, and the final ball not good enough.
Well, today's strike was Kenny Miller's 13th in what is his 22nd appearance for Rangers against Hibs. He cancelled out Anthony Stokes. Early strike inside 4 minutes. It's a real dramatic collapse by Hibernian as the season got into its business end in the Championship. Lost 3 games in a week. And we went from winter to spring, including a 3-0 reverse at home to Morton. Struggled to get going since then. But here comes Anthony Stokes, who's in again. Here! Equal to it this time is Wes Fodringham.
I think this is a really good save, because good play by Stokes. I thought he was going to go far post again, tries to catch the goalkeeper at the near post, and he gets a really strong right hand on this. That looks bound for the bottom corner. That's a great save.
Could have had a hat-trick. Stokes, who hit the post earlier. Here comes the corner. Grail desperately try and keep it in, which he has done. Looking for McGregor now. Cummings! Fodging him again! And suddenly the pendulum is swinging Hibs' way again. It's away from Stokes though. Another chance for the Hibees.
Well, incredible pressure. But Darren McGregor knocks this ball in. It's an absolute beauty. Great pace. So Anthony Stokes just can't make up the ground, can't get it on target. And Jason Cummings just earlier, what a chance he had as well. But again, Fotheringham got there quick and smothered his effort.
Well, he lost a calamitous goal at Easter Road recently, did West Fotheringham. It was a cross ball by Anthony Stokes that night in Edinburgh, which he almost patted into his own net. Some big saves there though. Here's Gideon Zelalem to Holt. Miller. Wallace. Waghorn. We said it would be tight. Conrad Logan, who was the hero in the shootout in the semis, he would have liked these ones, that's for sure. Fotheringham coming out to meet Cummings there. Conrad Logan had at some points of that semi-final seemed to be having a personal duel with Billy Mackay, Dundee United striker who missed a couple of clean through chances. Here come Hibernian, this is Cummings. He was chopped down there. David Gray is wide on the right, this is McGeer. 5-8. Again did well, he was fouled by Zelalem.
It's an important for Hibs set pieces. You know, you look at the three big centre backs, I definitely think they've got an edge in height, but you need quality in. The late challenger doesn't make contact with the ball. John McGinn skips over it, but referee awards the free kick. And I think, yep, all three centre backs are in there. So this is an area where Hibs will believe they can cause problems for Rangers.
Interesting, John McGinn didn't go down there. We saw something in the playoff match the other night where Luke Leahy fouled, it looked like a foul certainly, Topi Obadiah of Kilmarnock. The Kilmarnock player didn't go down. The referee decided it wasn't a penalty. It's John McGinn's free kick for Hibs. Away by Kiernan. Well dealt with by Kenny Miller. You can't argue with that. And now it's Waghorn, who's got Mackay over to his right if he can find them. Here's Kenny Miller picking up the scraps. Badly done by McGeer. One minute you think the teams are secure at the back, the next they're cut open.
No, neither looks defensively set. You know, but neither team play that way. You know, they're going to take their chances and get the ball in the forward area.
Jason Cummings. He's dinked it over the bar, but we'll forgive him that one, I think, after his semi-final penalty.
I think it was one of those ones where he really wasn't set for the shot, but did something similar at Falkirk in the playoff and rattled it back off the bar. So on 44 minutes plus, I think he was quite entitled to try his luck.
It's half-time in the Scottish Cup final. Anthony Stokes giving Hibs the dream start inside 4 minutes. A lovely finish, not great defending from a Rangers point of view, that's for sure. And Kenny Miller levelling up the final. Wonderful header, even better cross from James Tavernier, set up the opportunity. Stokes with his 8th of the season, Miller with his 21st. And it's been an exciting 45 minutes with both those players also hitting woodwork. It's been some first half, 45 minutes at least still to come at the National Stadium, but at half-time it is Rangers 1, Hibernian 1.